Technology has always had a role in education, impacting how we transmit knowledge and how we think about the knowledge we transmit. Medieval universities emerged as centralized entities in which the learned were grouped together to transmit knowledge to those who didn't possess it. Students were the consumers of the knowledge that professors produced and controlled. Technology thus entered an inseparable relationship with epistemology and pedagogy, and what later developed into learning theories. And while there have been adjustments over time, the fundamental learning paradigm has not changed. We retain centralized brick and mortar institutions premised on a hierarchical consumption-production model. Students come to colleges to be educated by those within our academies who not only produce and disseminate knowledge, but who decide what constitutes legitimate knowledge and how it can and should be known. Within the walls of the academy, knowledge has been regarded through a paradigm of scarcity. It is a commodity to be guarded, protected, and carefully curated, given only to those who are selected to receive it. Until now. Technology is expanding exponentially, and ready or not, we in education are a part of revolutionary changes. One very small part of this revolution is distance education and the integration of web-based technologies into our courses. When we utilize these technologies, we participate in micro-transformations that alter the way we produce, consume, and transmit knowledge, and we participate in macro-transformations that alter the educational paradigm. Let's take a look. Perhaps the greatest change is that when the walls of the academy fall away, they take with them the limitations on learning imposed through time and space. When and where can learning take place, when can it start, and when must it stop as measured by a clock and a calendar are no longer a concern. Classrooms become cyber learning communities, and students come, go, participate, read, watch, contribute from any location, and potentially continuously. For example, cyber classrooms can be comprised of students from around the world who draw from their physical and cultural locations and contribute their perspectives to the classroom. As students in Montana are ending their day, those in China and Australia are just beginning, and thus students can participate in a global weaving of a knowledge tapestry that is cyclical, continuous, and geographically and culturally inclusive, rather than linear, fragmented, culturally isolated, and exclusive. Think what could happen if learning and knowledge acquisition was in service of localized problems with immediate global input. If the solutions to these problems could be implemented, tested, and refined to generate new knowledge for the next class. Education in the 21st century is thus about the primacy of connections between learners who co-produce knowledge in the context of application, intentionally drawing from and contributing to a wide range of academic ideas and knowledge and traditions. This is a description of transdisciplinarity, aided in its birth through permeable knowledge boundaries that remove the silos within which academic knowledge has existed, maximizing our ability to bring every theoretical, practical, philosophical, and methodological tool to bear on real-world issues. This shifts our role as educators. We literally move from the front of the classroom, where we profess pre-produced knowledge, to a voice within a community of active, engaged, knowledge producers and synthesizers. We are a part of the production and consumption of knowledge, and we share responsibility for dissemination and application. Knowledge is no longer a scarce and privatized commodity. It is instead abundant, accessible, fluid, immediate, and democratized. Students who are actively engaged in problem solving and information generation are not passive receivers of knowledge that we think is important, and instead are active learners who produce and consume knowledge that can directly contribute to global change. Knowledge that is real, important, and relevant creates high student engagement. A recent study by the Jobs Foundation suggests that 86% of students who drop out of high school actually have the grades to pass, but they drop out because they're not engaged, not connected to a vibrant learning process that is relevant, immediate, and important. The price of this disconnection, measured in terms of human capital and the lost potential for change, is high. But we've known this for decades. John Dewey, the father of modern education, knew this 100 years ago. He believed that schooling was unnecessarily long and restrictive, and that children should come to school to do things while they lived in a community which gave them real, guided life tasks and challenges, experiences that foster their capacity to contribute to society. Interestingly, while we participate in revolutionary changes that alter our learning paradigms, shift our learning environments, and ultimately transform the structures through which learning occurs, we are simultaneously envisioning and enacting the educational ideals that Dewey imagined more than a century ago.